Spider-Man or Marvel fans. Yes, it's Monty G here. I'm pretty sure you guys are running. Monty G, what are you doing? Why are you about to review the movie called Madam Web? Aren't you a horror channel? Yeah, but I decided to go on ahead and start reviewing comic book movies like I used to. The title I used to make for these videos are my thoughts on, but I'm just going to make it my review of Madam Web because this movie is getting trounced, to me trounced by a lot of YouTubers and the critics, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to review this movie anyway. So here's my review or my thoughts on Madam Web. Now, Madam Web is a 2024 American superhero film was directed by S.J. Clarkson, written by Matt Samanza and Burke Sharpless, based upon the characters appearing in Marvel Comics. Now, the film stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabel Massad, Celeste O'Connor, and Tahar Rahim. I'll get that right. Now, in this movie, Cassandra Webb is a New York City paramedic who begins to demonstrate signs of clairvoyancy. Forced to challenge the revelations of her past, she needs to safeguard three young women from a deadly adversary who wants to destroy them. Oh no. Now, you really have to give Sony Pictures credit for trying to create their own universe involving characters that have appeared in Spider-Man comics. Now, this universe called Sony's Spider-Man universe, or SSU, have produced three films, I might as well say fourth, which are kind of separate from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but now, since Marvel is going to the multiverse, this is part of their multiverse, the Spider-Man universe films. So far, since 2018, we've had Venom, we had the sequel, Venom, Let There Be Carnage in 2021, and more recently, Morbius in 2022. Now, while the films have grossed over 1.5 billion worldwide, Venom and especially Morbius have recently received negative reviews from critics. Now, Venom Let Them Be Carnage, it got some mixed reviews, but basically most people, when it comes to the Spider-Man universe films, other than Spider-Man films that are more geared toward the MCU, the SSU really hasn't had a good run of their films. Now, Sony Pictures brings us its latest entry into the SSU. From British television film director S.J. Clarkson, we have Madam Web. Now, after a brief prologue involving Constance Webb and her partner Ezekiel Sims, we're introduced to her daughter, Cassandra Cassie Webb, a New York paramedic living a quiet life in 2003. So this takes place way before Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. Now, Cassie's life takes a dramatic change, after having a near-death experience during a call when she starts suffering from events that she calls deja vu, but then later realizes that she can actually see into the future. Ooh. Now, these events lead her to encounter three young women, Julia Cornwall, Ayana Corazon, and Maddie Franklin, who are also being chased by Ezekiel from the early part of the film, who has now gained spider-like abilities along with the same precognition ability that Cassie has. So, can Cassie protect these women from Ezekiel while trying to learn why he wants to kill these women? Well, that's kind of what the film is about. Now, I will have to say, I was a bit surprised to see that Sony decided to make a film about Madam Web because she really is a secondary character from the Spider-Man comics. I mean, for those who don't know this character, she first appeared in Spider-Man back in 1980, and she is an older woman who is blind and suffers from amnesia gravis, and is connected to a life support system resembling a spider web. Now, she's appeared on and off throughout the years. I believe recently her powers are now passed down to Julia Carpenter, who was another Spider Woman, and now she has Cassandra Webb's abilities when it comes to precognition and also being blind. But she really wasn't a real major player when it comes to Spider-Man or in specifically the Marvel Universe. So I don't even know why Sony decided to pick her out of all the people to make a movie off of. I mean, you really have to do an excellent job in making this character exciting enough to get non-comic book fans interested in seeing her in a superhero film. And despite S.A. Clarkson's best efforts, I mean, she fails in this one. I don't know if it's because of the script that she's written or more of studio interference. I mean, you'll learn about when I talk about more about this film if you haven't learned about it already. Now, I do like the premise of the film, having a younger version of the character and then including these three women who eventually take on the Spider Woman role from the comics. Now, there are eventually, I believe, there are now four women who have taken on the Spider Woman role in the comics. We have Jessica Drew. She was the first one. And I think that there's Julia, then there's Anya, and then there's Maddie. So there are basically four women who have chosen the name Spider Woman. And the three of these are are based upon the Spider Woman. Three of those have taken on the Spider Woman character. They don't never have not seen Jessica Drew in, so far in the MCU or in the SSU. Now, while this is a good premise, it's the journey that the audience goes with Cassie and the ladies is the issue because it's dull and a bit lackluster sometimes. It's really kind of nothing happens. I mean, while we get some nice bonding moments between Cassie and the girls, it's the script that Matt Samanza and his colleagues have given us. It doesn't allow enough character development to make the audience cares what happens to them. I mean, we really don't think anything dangerous is going to happen to them. I mean, there's a scene in the diner that we tried to get more involved with these three ladies, but unfortunately, it's simply just not enough. We don't get any type of character development, some individual character development with any of these women at all. I mean, it doesn't help that the villain is lackluster as well, as Ezekiel isn't the threat that he should be, as Zahar Rahim doesn't bring any life into the character whatsoever. Now, Dakota Johnson tries her best to bring life into Cassie, I will give her that. You know, a young woman thrust into caring for three women she has never met before, nor her life is turned upside down when she starts having her precognition visions, and also trying to understand her powers. I mean, there's a scene in the movie, I guess, for exposition's sake, where she simply goes down to the Amazon. But we saw her mother in the beginning part of the film. We kind of understand what her power is, and she gets to learn some things about her mother. Which I guess I thought it was okay, but it seemed out of place in the film. It's like we got to do something to make Cassie understand her power. So was all of a sudden have her go to the Amazon and then come back. We get nothing more of the three girls at all as well. Now, again, like I said before, we had some nice bonding moments between Cassie, Julia, Anya, and Maddie. You know, I really did like the actresses. You know, we get I think it's Sydney Sweeney who stars in the Authority. I thought she was pretty good in the role that she played, playing I believe she plays Julia. You know, and I like the two other actors that play Anya and Maddie. You know, I thought they were good. I mean, we also have a nice Easter egg involving a certain nephew to Cassie's partner, Ben. But that's kind of about it. Uh, the action scene that takes place in the third act, I really didn't mind it at all. But I get the feeling this was more on Sony's part than anything else. I really cannot see that S.J. Clarkson and the filmmakers decided to want to make an action scene with a Pepsi sign right in front of it. That's got to be definitely Sony's doing asking Clarkson to do that one. It doesn't do anything for the character. I mean, it's like again before. There's really no danger at all. We're not even worried about the girls are going to die or anything going to happen to Cassie. I mean, something happens to Cassie, but that's kind of what puts her back into what we know about the character from the comic book. So I wasn't surprised at it happening, but at no point in time did I feel any type of danger was going to happen to the girls or Cassie. Now, I know this film is getting panned by critics, and some YouTubers are saying this has happened to be one of the worst hero films that they've seen before. And I can understand that because, you know, you want to do something decent when it comes to making a superhero film from a secondary character. I mean, just like when Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, I felt as they're taking a chance because unless you know the comics, you really don't know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy. That the fact that this is a second iteration of that group, there was another Guardians of the Galaxy. So if you don't read the comics, you don't know about this. But the fact that James Gunn was able to make all those characters great and hit the thing of the ballpark, that's what made Guardians of the Galaxy such a fantastic film. Here, there's nothing here. And like I said, I don't know if it was the script or if or S.J. S.J. Clarkson's directions or it was just pure studio interference, I can't see this is the type of film that they wanted to make. I mean, put it this way: if they wanted to get something exciting, they would have at least chose some other characters from Spider-Man's world. You know, could have been Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, uh, the alternate version of Gwen Stacy. You know that version. If all else, Miles Morales, you pick Madam Web, and you give us this. Again, for me, it's not a bad film. This is not Thor. This is not Morbius, and it's not Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, those films are. Oof, don't get me start talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. But I don't understand what they were trying to do with this particular film. Like I said, it's not a bad film. It's just meh. It's like you couldn't do anything like that. I would prefer if they would have made this a streaming TV series. And at least you would have gotten a better chance of making some character development, not only with Cassie, but at least the three girls that are going to eventually become Spider Women. I mean, overall, this is another failed attempt for Sony and their Spider-Man universe. It seems they cannot make a decent superhero film outside of Spider-Man. It's sad though because as much as I enjoy most of the Spider-Man mythos, like I said, I did enjoy Venom. I thought that was pretty good, except for the third act of the film. I actually like some of the improvements they made in Venom. Let There Be Carnage, but there were some problems with that particular film. I didn't want to talk about Morbius because it's like this: you sort of take the bite out of Morbius by making it a PG-13 film, and I want to talk about the third act in this film. And then again, another problem with this film, this third act, it's just like it is so lackluster. It is just meh. And again, for me, Man and Web is not a bad superhero film. There are worse superhero films that I've seen other than this. It's just this is so totally lackluster and meh. Now, like I said before, this is a horror channel, so I don't give out any of my five gold coins. But if I were to rate this particular film, it's kind of hard to do because it's not bad, but it's not really good as well. Neither, if anything, I probably give like 1.5 out of 5 because, like I said before, I really can't fault S.J. Clarkson. I can't fault the filmmakers or anybody else or how the film is written. I got the feeling that this was totally interference on Sony's part. For some reason or another, they decided to make Madam Web into a film when there are other characters could have been a better choice other than Madam Web. So there you have it, guys. That is my review of Madam Web. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really does help out with that YouTube algorithm. What do you thought about Madam Web? Have you seen the film? Do you think this is the worst superhero film that you've seen? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. I want to thank you very much for watching. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, and please stay safe out there.